I refused to go to my sister's wedding because she humiliated my son. First things first. Okay, first things first. Look it! I'm still decorating my whole studio area. I literally film in the corner of a room, if you guys didn't know. Quite literally. So, condo life in Toronto. So I'm setting up this area. So I bought him to sit on my chair that I have here, and I'm getting a rug. It goes with the theme. The story was posted July 18th, 2024. A few months ago, my sister, let's call her Jane, got engaged and started planning her wedding. Jane is 37 years old. Growing up, we were always really close, sharing secrets and supporting each other through life's up and downs. However, Jane has always had a tendency to be backhanded and passive-aggressive. She would make snide remarks under the guise of a concern and often find subtle ways to belittle me or others. Despite this, I, 34, always tried to maintain a good friendship with her, believing that deep down she cared for me. This all came to a head during a recent family gathering at Jane's house. My son, Liam, who is 7 years old, has a bladder issue that sometimes causes him to have accidents. We've been working with doctors and trying our best to manage it, but it's a sensitive subject for him. During the gathering, Liam had an accident. He was embarrassed, and I was in the process of helping him clean up when Jane noticed. Instead of being understanding or discreet, Jane loudly pointed it out in front of everyone. She said things like, "How disgusting," and "At this age, this is unacceptable." She even went as far as to say that Liam should be ashamed of himself and criticized me for not getting him under control. I think that's a little more than passive aggressive, to be honest. That's your nephew you're talking about. I'll be damned if someone talks about my niece. My niece? I'm so sorry to my niece that I just called her my niece. But I'll be damned if somebody talks like that about or to my niece or nephew. I'm not even the mom, so I can't even imagine how mom feels. Her comments made Liam burst into tears, and I quickly took him home to comfort him. As I was gathering our things to leave, Jane came over, still clearly upset. She asked me why I was leaving. I looked at her, trying to keep my voice calm for Liam's sake, and said, "Jane, I think it's best we go home. Liam is very upset right now." Jane rolled her eyes at me and said, "Oh, come on, it's just an accident. He needs to learn how to handle these things better. You can't just coddle him forever." My patience was wearing thin, but I tried to explain again. "Jane, Liam has a medical condition. We're working with doctors and it's a sensitive issue for him. Your comments just now were really hurtful." She said, "I was just telling the truth. He needs to toughen up. You're not doing him any favors by babying him." I don't know why her sister is treating this like it's mom just doesn't want to potty train him. He has a medical condition. She's not treating him like a baby. They're working on it. You think Liam wants to have accidents? The poor kid is probably so embarrassed within himself. He can't help it. At this point, I was furious, but didn't want to escalate the situation in front of Liam. I took a deep breath and I said, "We'll talk about this later, Jane. Right now, I just need to take care of my son." Without waiting for a response, I gathered Liam and headed to the car. On the drive home, I couldn't shake the image of Jane's face and her harsh words. This wasn't the first time she made Liam feel bad about his condition. Each time I had hoped she would understand and show some empathy, but it seemed like she was only getting worse. The next day, I called Jane to talk about what had happened. This conversation is from what I can remember. I wanted to explain again, away from the heat of the moment, and hoped that she would see reason. Quote, "Jane, about yesterday, I need you to understand how much your words hurt Liam. He's already struggling and your comments made him feel even worse." Instead of apologizing, Jane was very defensive. "I'm not going to apologize for telling the truth. You need to stop coddling him, and he needs to learn to deal with the real world." I'm gonna keep one thought to myself. I was about to say it, but I chose kindness today. Her response was like a punch to the gut. I had hoped for some empathy, some understanding, but it was clear that she was not going to give it. "Jane, I don't think you understand how serious this is. He has a medical condition. It's not something he can just toughen up from. She told me, look, I have a wedding to plan. I don't have time for this drama. Drama you may have created. I'm just saying, you could have just not said anything. When Jane's wedding invitations went out, I received one, but I felt conflicted. On one hand, she's my sister, and it's a significant event in her life. On the other hand, I couldn't forget how she humiliated my son and her refusal to apologize. After much thought, I decided to decline the invitation. I didn't feel comfortable celebrating with someone who had been so cruel to my child. When Jane found out, she was livid. She accused me of trying to ruin her special day and called me petty and overdramatic. Some family members sided with her, saying I should let it go for the sake of family harmony, while others understood my decision and supported me. This wasn't the first time Jane had done something like this. She had a history of making hurtful comments about Liam's condition and generally lacked sensitivity when it comes to his medical issues. Each time I've tried to address it calmly, hoping she would eventually understand and be more considerate. Unfortunately, she never changes, and her behavior continues to hurt my son. Jane has been blowing up my phone, including other family members. Now I'm left questioning if I'm the a-hole for refusing to go to my sister's wedding. I don't want to cause family drama, but I also feel strongly about standing up for my son. This wedding is just the latest incident in a long line of hurtful behavior from Jane, and I'm not sure how much more I can take. We have an update, but before we get to it, your girl is parched. Not actually. I'm being so dramatic, but let's take a sip of water. Drink some water today, okay? I know we hate it, but we need it. We need it. It's lemon water in my cup. Cheers. I just filled her up. She's heavy. All right, we got update number 1, and it came July 18th, just 10 hours later than the original post. Hi all, it has been a few hours since I made my first post. I wanted to say thank you all for all the love going to my son, Liam. It truly means the world. I wanted to address some things. Number 1, the reason I bring Liam to these gatherings is because he loves his cousins. He enjoys spending time with family. 2, Liam doesn't like wearing pull-ups or diapers of any form. This is why I haven't necessarily been using them. Now to further update, I've talked to Liam about what happened. I told him that it wasn't his fault at all and that Aunt Jane was being very rude and inconsiderate. I told him that he's an amazing boy and to never let anyone say otherwise. My son was very happy to hear this. He told me that what Jane had said to him hurt his feelings a lot, and I completely understood. So do I. I asked him if he wanted to continue to go to these family events. He said no. I fully supported his decision. My son comes first, and the comments have helped me realize that I've let Jane walk all over me with the fear of causing a tear in the family. Now I'm going to have little to no contact with Jane. I'll send her the occasional holiday message, but that's it. I cannot be around someone who hurts my son. I felt as if I had failed as a mom, and the comments have truly opened my eyes, so thank you all. As for the people in my family who support my sister, uh-oh. Hold on, let me not freaking squeak while I talk. I have blocked them all. I refuse to allow people who agree with her mentality to be involved in my son's life. I love my son with all my heart, and I would do anything for that little guy. I think that I should have put a stop to it sooner, and I regret not doing that. However, I know that I can be a better mom, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I messaged the family that was contacting me in a mass group chat, and I told them that we would no longer be coming to any family events. If they wanted to see my son, they would have to come individually, or the event would have to be hosted by me. I also told them that my sister's behavior needs to be fixed because that was the reason our family is being torn apart. Not because I'm not going to her wedding, but because she decided to make fun of my child. My mother is on my side and fully supports my decision. My father is still stuck in the middle, and for that, I think I should go low contact with him too. I'm going to keep in touch with you all and keep the updates coming whenever I can. All I know is that even if she gives my son the apology he deserves, I want nothing to do with her. I don't want her around my son. We do have an update, a very recent update. This one came January 26, 2025, which was 6 months later. Hi everyone, it's been a couple of months since I made my update post, so I figured I should update once more if anyone is still interested. We are still interested. I need it wrapped up. You know, I need my stories wrapped up in a bow. My sister Jane got married on December 4th, and it has been such a roller coaster. I did not go to the wedding. For some reason, I thought this update would say she decided to change her mind and she was gonna go to the wedding. Wow, she didn't go to the wedding. Nor did I go to any after party or gathering they had. I'm not at all interested in any of their plans. From what I heard, red wine was spilled on her dress, which in turn ruined the photos. Karma's a bitch. Anyways, I ended up taking Liam to the mall and then spent the entire day with him. I bought him some new Lego sets, clothes, and basically everything he wanted. My boy deserves to be spoiled. Before anyone asks, yes, he still has bladder issues. However, yes, we managed to get him used to wearing pull-ups and other things to try to manage his accidents. A lot of people sent me messages regarding certain things to use, and honestly, it really helped a lot. I checked a few of them before I logged out of this account. It wasn't easy getting him used to the change, but Liam understood that it was for the best and he learned to use them. He hasn't really complained about anything so far. Now the big question is, what is going on with my sister? Like I said, she got married and all blah, blah, blah. According to her maid of honor, she was a real bridezilla. That does not surprise me. It really doesn't. I mean, look how she treated her own sister. So glad I wasn't there. I feel bad for her fiance, really nice guy. I still have no contact with her or anyone in my family that supported her. My mother has been my rock. It hasn't been that hard to adjust, actually. My father has been cut off as well. Oh, Dad. Oh, no. Not Dad. My father and I never got along, so okay, there was other issues there. My father and I never got along, so it wasn't a loss for me. My sister has tried to reach out to me a couple of times. Most of them were just berating me for not going to the wedding, and the others were half-assed apologies. Oh, so she has apologized. Half-ass, but she has tried in some way to apologize. I could honestly care less about what she says. I read some of the comments, and guys, you made him the happiest little boy on earth. His birthday was actually 4 days ago, January 22nd. He's now 8 years old. We had a nice Lego themed party for him. He loves Legos. My mom and a few cousins were invited along with his school friends. He had an accident during the party, but finally, no one was there to berate him for something he can't control. I also want to say thank you for everything. If anything in the future happens, I'll be sure to update you guys. We're going to get to some comments from this post because I know some people like when I read comments and what other people are saying about it. So we're going to check some of them out. All right, one user, Joe Lefty, said, well done. We let rude big mouths like your sister get away with too much for too long just because it's easier and less drama to let it go. Stand up for your son as you have admirably. The good people will stick with you. The rest, good riddance. Another user said, well done. You're doing such a great job addressing this. I'm one of the people who advocated for pull-ups. Your son isn't on the spectrum, is he? If so, I get that his aversion to them could be tactile. However, if not, have a child-sized discussion with him to help him understand that a pull-up is simply a tool for him to use if he feels there could be complications with his medical condition in the circumstances you are all going into. No one needs to know since bathroom issues are private. His decision to use them if he wants and have them on hand with no pressure. That's a good idea. Just bring them, let them know it's there if you want to use it. It's your choice though, ultimately. Like a pencil to write with or a hammer to pound with, a band-aid to cover an injury, a pull-up to assist with allowing him to keep his medical issue private with no chance of being shamed for it. Keep being his hero in the story. See, that comment alone can make me cry. What is my issue? Everything makes me cry. Happy, sad, I cry. Another user wrote, yep, I did the same thing to some in my dad's family when they continually mistreated my son when he was growing up due to his being on the spectrum. He was a good kid, but he would sometimes say things that they misunderstood because they didn't get how his mind worked, and they called his autism an excuse. My aunt is still mad at him for something he said when he was 10 years old that he didn't even mean the way she took it. And he's now 33. Talk about holding a grudge. Someone commented to this comment, an adult getting offended by a 10-year-old and holding a grudge has some serious issues. So much better off without her. That's what I was gonna say. Auntie, girl, what's going on? Like, are you really holding a grudge about what a 10-year-old said to you and didn't mean? Someone else wrote, shame on your dad. He should defend his grandson. I still remember this time I was a little kid and my uncle told me to shut the hell up while we were visiting him. I was a smart, excitable little boy and I tended to talk fast and a lot. I was probably pretty annoying. My dad was sitting off to the side and stops the conversation we were having and looks at my uncle and says, don't ever effing talk to my son like that again. I have a complicated relationship with my dad, but I have never doubted that he wasn't on my side. Interesting. What do you guys think? Do we think shame on dad and that he should be sticking up for, like, take the sister drama out of it, okay? Should grandpa be sticking up for nephew Liam, even if it's his daughter who's causing the hurt? All right, and one more. Someone wrote, good, she is toxic and needs to be cut off. I have no tolerance for family treating me or any family member like this. Family is so overrated. If family treats you like this, what can you expect from the outside world? She is just a mean, evil person, period. Protect your son at all costs. Bam. Now let me know your comments down below. I want to hear. I feel like moms and dads are for sure gonna have an opinion on this because you guys can relate if it was your child. So I want to hear them. I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there, stay sassy, and I'll see you tomorrow.